Companies have been, of course, grappling and in some cases benefiting from our changed behavior amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Ride-sharing companies front and center with issues that predate the pandemic, but also some benefit from our stay-at-home economy. John Zimmer is co-founder and vice chair and president of Lyft. Thank you very much for being with us, John. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to, before I get to kind of the current state of your business, which I know is complex, I do want to talk to you about this 16-month congressional investigation into big tech. Lyft is not on the list. I don't think that either of the ride-sharing companies have been accused of monopolistic behavior. But more broadly, the committee is essentially saying that these handful of big names are stifling innovation and entrepreneurship. Do you think that big tech needs a closer look like this from lawmakers?
Look, we've always had good relationships with local regulators. We've always gone in and thought that because our industry impacts millions of people, that it's important to have various regulations and various relationships with regulators. I can't speak to those specific companies. Obviously, Lyft is not impacted by that. We're at a very different stage in our development. We're working to get to profitability as our next big step and our milestone. Mm-hmm. And I think conversation and scrutiny is important along the way.
And to your point about your own path to profitability, let's get to how your business is faring amid this pandemic. I know it's been a bit of a good news, bad news story for many tech companies. What does it mean for Lyft?
Yeah, I mean, it's, when the economy shifts so drastically, it's difficult on a transportation business. So at the earliest stage, we saw rides in our rideshare business go down up to 75% across North America. We're now back recovered over 50%, which is strange to say that that's exciting, but it is exciting. And even amidst some of the larger lockdowns, primarily in the U.S., we're seeing half the rides recover is a positive signal. Specific to Canada, we've actually seen a much better recovery thanks to the good work you've done there to control the virus. And we've seen, I believe, Toronto now at over 80% of pre-COVID levels. And actually in Vancouver, we're above. We just launched Vancouver at the start of this year, but kind of pre-COVID, pre-lockdown. And we're now at a higher level than we were right as COVID began impacting the market. The good thing that we've done through this period is we've really looked at our cost structure such that once we hit about 80% recovery across all our markets, that we will reach that profitability milestone.
So just sticking with the Canadian scene here, I know Lyft Canada has registered to lobby the government a couple of big issues. One has to do with electric vehicles. What does Lyft want to see on that front in a regulatory way? We know that our government looks like they'll be giving some tax incentives for the producers of electric vehicles. What do you want to see?
Yeah, again, Canada has done a great job, I believe, setting a target of 100% EV sales by 2040, I believe. Our goal is with the next decade to transition with our drivers, with regulators, to all cars on the platform being EVs. So we're hoping to do that quickly over the next decade. For drivers, we believe the economics make a lot of sense. If you look at utilization of an average vehicle, a personal vehicle, someone not using a vehicle for work, they use the car just about 4% of the time, where a rideshare driver utilizes the vehicle a much higher percent, and therefore the battery and EV technology pays back much more quickly. So what we're looking for that we think is both good for cities, good for clean air, good for transitioning to kind of the new economy. We're looking for governments to do policies similar to what you just articulated of incentives to help people make that transition.
And I know that this whole issue of gig worker treatment is on the table in Canada as well. We were seeing some movement on that in the U.S., particularly in California. What's your fear about what happens if you've got to treat all of your contract employees like full-time employees?
Well, I like to zoom out and say, well, what is the right thing to do for workers? And for me, the right thing to do for workers for our specific industry is to provide both the flexibility and a set of benefits that corresponds with the amount they're driving on the platform. if you look at the makeup of our drivers across North America, the majority of drivers have full-time work outside of Lyft. They use Lyft for supplemental income. They use Lyft for that safety net if they have an extra medical expense that they can't use their main income for. They work 3 months on the platform and then they go back to their other work. I believe in Canada we see I know in Vancouver we see about 93% of drivers driving under 20 hours. In California, it's 86% of drivers drive under 20 hours. So flexibility that you get from independent contractor status of being able to set your own hours, come and go as you please, is important. That said, protections and benefits are also important. And historically, across North America, benefits have been tied to employment versus independent contractor status. It's a bit different in the US than it is in Canada. It's a little bit more on that realm. But I think you should be able to have both. And so what we put forward in in California is a policy that provides healthcare benefits if you drive 15 hours or more, provides minimum earnings guarantee. And I think that type of flexibility plus protections is the way forward.